Hey guys and girls or whoever's watching, welcome to part 5 in my series of Spanish tutorials. Let's see what we have in store for today. So let's start with a recap from our previous tutorial like we always do. So let's review how to answer each question. So ¿Cuántos años tienes? Literally means how many years do you have? Because in Spanish, you don't, as you are not a certain years, you accumulate that number of years. Especially seen as something you accumulate over time. And you respond by replacing tienes with tengo. For example, yo tengo 16 años. Literally, I have 16 years. And como te llamas literally means how do you call yourself? But it's often interpreted to mean what's your name. So to do that, we'll just replace te with me and say me llamo. Insert your name here. For example, me llamo Ethan. And quién eres is a question used to describe who someone is as a person, which usually requires the use of an adjective. For example, yo soy muy alto means I am very tall. Then que te gusta hacer is used to ask what the other person likes to do, and they would respond with me gusta, followed by a verb, and then a noun. For example, me gusta jugar al ajedrez, meaning I like to play chess. So hopefully we got all 4 of these questions down, and let's move on to today's material. So here are the definite articles, and I'm sorry if I break out in laughter while narrating the slide. But unlike English, and but like most other languages, Spanish has genders, which means that some words are male and others are female, or masculine and feminine if you want to get technical. So Spanish has not 1 but 4 words for the. And remember, none of the 4 words you see in parentheses are actual words. They're just to help illustrate when each article would be used. So el goes in front of masculine singular nouns, and most of these words usually end in o. Real example being el baloncesto, meaning the basketball. And I actually haven't taught you many words with la, but I'm just going to make up an example right now. La rosa, the pink. As you can see, words with la usually end in a. Then los, remember it's not els, it's los. This goes in front of masculine and plural words. For example, el baloncesto becomes los baloncestos. And finally, las is obviously the plural of la and is used in front of multiple feminine nouns. Using my previous example, las rosas, the pink things. So feel free to just laugh at the L something O, or just use it as a hilarious example like I intended. Okay. Now here are some basic pronouns, and I'm sorry if this list looks a little scary or intense. These are all pronouns that you'll come across in later tutorials. So you've already seen yo as meaning I, as in yo soy or yo estoy. Then tú means you. You can kind of remember that because just like in English, you is the second plural pronoun and tú sounds like the number 2. And then el, just like the definite article we covered on the last slide, describes a masculine noun, in this case he. Then ella has la in it, so you can infer that it means she. And then usted is a more formal way of referring to you. Fun fact, it's actually a third person pronoun, not second person like you. And then nosotros means we, but be careful because this is where our articles come in. In Spanish, I don't like to say it, but it is a very male-dominated language. So, as you can see, mixed genders means that even if there's like 999 males in a group and only 1 female, you still use the masculine form nosotros to refer to the group. And you only say nosotras when there's absolutely 100% females in the group. And the same goes for vosotros, which is a slang term that you use kind of like y'all, but Usually you won't need to know this unless you go to Spain. A couple words you will need to know are eos. It has los in it, so you can infer that it refers to multiple masculine nouns, in this case people. And eas has las in it, so it refers to multiple female people when talking about them. And finally, ustedes is obviously a plural of usted, and is a more formal way of referring to like you guys. You're talking to, not about, multiple people. So let's move on to our 2 questions for today. Our first question is de donde eres? So it literally means from where are you if you consider the word order, but obviously it means where are you from. So since we just covered basic pronouns 2 slides ago, say yo, meaning I, followed by soy de, means I am from, then you just insert a place name. Usually it'll be the same as in English. For example, yo soy de California, this means I'm from California. But here's obviously not an exhaustive list of place names to learn, so you can get an idea of what a typical response would look like. So Estados Unidos means the United States in Spanish. It's abbreviated as EEUU. Remember that because it's referring to multiple states, you need multiple letters for both. And then Norte America means North America, so it could refer to anywhere in North America. And not many mnemonic devices are required for this page, because as you can see, most of these are cognates, meaning they are very similar to their English equivalents. For example, Central America can refer to any of the countries between what we would consider North America, like Canada, United States, and Mexico, and South America. And a similar but not overlapping term is Latino America, simply meaning Latin America, which can refer to any Spanish-speaking country in Central and South America, sometimes including Mexico. Then Sudamerica is South America. And then Africa, Asia, and Australia are all pretty much the same words. As for Europa, which means Europe, and is a feminine noun, like we discussed a couple of slides ago. But there are still a couple place names that are not the same as in English, like on this slide. So Canada and Mexico are both almost the same, like with just one accent mark per word. Then España, you might have heard Spanish as being called Español, so it makes sense that the word for Spain, where the Spanish language originated, would have a similar name. Then Inglaterra combines Inglés, the word for English as in the language, and tierra, meaning land, so you get England. And Alemania means Germany, and basically that's one you'll just have to memorize. Then Francia, this means France. And Polonia, you might recognize from the element polonium, which was named after Poland, because the scientist who discovered it was from Poland. So yeah, the Spanish word is Polonia. And the word for Korea is just one letter away, Korea. And as it says on the slide, most other countries you just call for now the same name as they have in English. And some people might want to get a little more specific and name a specific location and within their home country or state. For example, Southern Illinois or Eastern Ohio. So to do this, you would say soy de or yo soy de, like you would about a general country, and then insert the country name, and then insert the direction. So norte means north, sur means south. Those are both pretty close to their English equivalents. Then este is east. Spoiler, it also means this, as in this direction. And then oeste means west. One way you can remember it, if any of you who are watching have ever seen SpongeBob before, there's this one episode where Patrick confuses his west, which is actually west, his east, And it's kind of the same thing in Spanish, where the words for east and west are only one letter apart. Oh, oeste? I thought you meant oeste. Then centro just means central. So an example of how this would be used would be Yo soy de California del Sur. Okay, this can be used with pretty much any country or state name that's big enough to need directions to specify location. Okay, now for our second question of the day, ¿Dónde vives? It means where do you live? And it's just you just ask someone else where they currently live. So we just replace vives with vivo and add a place name, just like in the general formula, which would be yo vivo, then add en, which is the pronoun equivalent of in, and then a place name. For example, yo vivo en Virginia, which means I live in Virginia. Feel free to practice these two questions on your own, but thanks for watching this video, and I'd encourage you all to like and subscribe, because I'll be back hopefully tomorrow with another Spanish tutorial, and pretty soon you'll be able to determine the month, day, and year all in Spanish. Adios!